Bradley Sowash and Tim Topham here, my special colleague and special guest and friend, wonderful piano teacher all the way from Australia for this month's Improv Tip of the Month.
Very cool to be here, Bradley.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to do a little bit about how you can easily compose a pop-sounding tune using just 4 chords today. So now I'm going to put on my student hat, and I've just come to my lesson. Hi, Mr. Tim.
Hi. So you guys do that whole Mr. Bradley?
Sometimes, usually for the first 2 lessons.
We do it. Some teachers do it in Australia. I'm just happy to be called Tim. I don't really.
Okay.
It's funny. So anyway, so Bradley, last few lessons we've been doing some 12-bar blues, right? In the key of C.
Oh yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. So can you show me the 3 chords you were using to do the 12-bar blues? What were they in the key of C?
I remember it was the 1 chord, which was C.
Right.
The 4 chord, which was F.
Right.
And the 5 chord, which was G.
Beautiful, great. And so we might, as a bit of a review, just play a little blues. Let's do a quick little blues just to get that back in our head. What if we just kind of sound? Can you remember the little improv scale we were using in the right hand? If I do the chords, could you do a little improv?
Just my right hand.
Yeah. Here we go. Well, let's just to get us back in the musical swing of things.
All right, here we go.
2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Okay,
Thank you.
So now we've got that back in our head. The great thing is that with only the addition of 1 more chord, we can actually change our little composition to something that sounds a little bit more pop rather than jazz.
That'd be fun. I like pop.
Yeah, cool. So the chord that we're going to add, I want you to actually shut your eyes and see if you can work out where this chord is. I'm going to play the 3 chords that you know. So here's the C, just listening, F, here's G, and here's the new chord we're going to add.
Huh, I could hear that was higher than the G.
Right. So can you see if you can try and play that chord?
Here's
Yeah,
my
let's
C,
go
my
through.
F.
Good. And we went a bit higher, right? Nice job. Beautiful.
Okay.
Great. So with these 4 chords, we can play a whole lot of very, very cool pop.
All right.
So should we try pop chord progression now?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Beautiful. So the 3 chord progressions that I love using with my students are these 3 here. So we'll play through this first one. So it's C, G, A minor, and F. So A minor is your new chord. You can hear that it's got that slightly sadder sound.
Yeah.
There's the major, right?
Oh.
So C, G, A minor, F, and for all of these, we're just going to keep a nice steady beat. So, then we change. And then F. Nice job. Brilliant. And what I'd like you to do is, if you can play it like I'm playing it, so I'm going to play with my chords in my right hand, and down here you're going to either do octaves if you've got big hands or just a single note.
Okay.
Okay, and you're going to repeat the right hand chord while you hold down the left hand. This is what I call a pop piano style. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nice job. And finish on C. Great job. So the second chord progression, which I think all students should know, is this one here. C, A minor, F, and G.
So those are the same chords in a new order.
Exactly, yeah, and you'll probably feel this will sound a little bit familiar. And let's give it a bit of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 change chord, then the F. Okay, here we go. Ready and A minor. Brilliant. Nice job. Repeat that one. Great. And if you were an adult student, I would ask you what kind of vintage. What decade does that sound like?
Reminds me of the 50s.
Yeah, 50s, 60s. Grease the musical is what I always think
Grease,
of, right?
yep.
All right, and the last one, and this is a very modern chord progression. You'll recognise the sound of this because you're a teenager now. A minor, F. So we're going to start on the A minor this time.
Oh, okay.
A minor, F, C, and G. time's coming up.
Oh.
Yeah. Good job.
He's a good teacher.
So these 3 chord progressions, that's where I'd kind of stop that first lesson if we were introducing that. And I'd say, go home and muck around with these chord progressions, play them in 3/4, 4/4, 6/8, different time signatures, different grooves, and definitely using some backing tracks. Either with the chords or just with a beat. Are you going to go and put a beat on?
Yeah, let's put a beat on.
Let's do A minor one. Here we go. Fun to be in the same room as my buddy here. This never happens.
So even though we just showed off a little bit, I had took off our 12-year-old hats. Really, the raw materials there are the same. It's those 4 wonderful chords that you hear all over in Pachelbel's Canon and Journey, Don't Stop Believing tunes, Let It Be. These are all so many chord songs use these chords. And what we did to decorate it was add a lot of rhythm. And I was messing around with the pentatonic scale. What were you doing?
I was thinking pentatonic, but I was also thinking about some of my favourite kind of. So these little, and you've got the same things. They're tiny little. You call them licks.
Licks in your bag. I call it your bag of tricks.
Yeah. They're just things I know are going to sound cool, and so you chuck them in. This and this. That kind of one of my favourite. Let's get onto that in just one sec because I just want to show you what you can do. We've got time for this, right?
Yeah.
Just show you what you can do in that second lesson with a student, and that's to go, okay, well, so you've mucked around with these chords, Bradley, and this is really great, these progressions. Let's now make up your own. How cool would that be?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. All right, so this is lesson number 2, right?
Lesson number 2. Hi, Mr. Tim.
So you know how last week we were playing some really cool progressions using, what were the 4 chords we were using?
Oh, let's see. I remember it was the 1, 4, and 5 from the blues progression. And
right.
We added a new one, the 6 chord.
Very, very good. Okay, so there's actually 2 more cool chords that we can add to our progressions, right? And they are these 2 over here. We could do the chord stack, right? So the 2 chord, which is a D minor, and the 3 chord, which is E minor.
Okay.
And the great thing is that all of these 6 chords tend to sound really, really good together.
Why is that?
They're all part of the diatonic scale in the key of C, right? They're all in the same key.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're going to now experiment. You're going to make up your own progression. So I tend to set it up like this, and then we'll show you a few fun ways that you can get students to actually come up with the different chords, right? So I'll normally give them something that looks like this.
So we got a C.
So there's your C, and we're literally going to fill in the blanks, and you can do this in any number of ways. So should we try the beach ball?
Yeah.
Let's try the beach ball.
So I did earlier, I wrote all the chord symbols on this beach ball, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. So we're starting with a C chord. So chord number 2 is going to be A.
I'm going to look under my right hand, and it has a 6.
All right. So if I'm writing chords, Bradley, in the key of C, what's the 6th chord going to be?
C, D, E, F, G, A. It's that A minor chord.
A minor. Very good. All right. Next one.
And I'm under a 4 this time.
Yeah.
This is looking like what we did earlier.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Okay, so I'd ask you, and that was be an F chord.
I'll just give this a spin.
Yeah.
And I landed on 1.
1. Okay. This will be interesting. All right, so that's our chord progression. The next thing is, without much more talking, to start playing it with the student. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see that we always make sure you finish again on C. This is an interesting one to talk about because, of course, we've got 2 Cs in the one progression. I reckon we could rub this last one out and spice it up with
Yeah,
something.
we can use chance to get the creative wheels turning, and then use taste to refine it.
Yeah. All right. So one more roll. Let's just add a new one here. Going for D
And I've
minor
got
or E minor.
2 on the.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good. Well, this will be interesting.
All right.
All right. So here's our progression now. Let's try it out. Here we go. 2, 3, and 4. Not bad. And look, I would play this a number of times with the students. I wouldn't stop after one. It's just a time thing for us.
Right.
Students will really enjoy playing this kind of thing because they feel like they're a little bit of a pop star.
Right, because they just thrown together chords. Well, let me throw a comment in here. We if you don't like the progression or it seems a little not bad but a little weak, here's a little trick. In music school and composition, I was a composition major. They taught us that sometimes the chord that is 1/3 down can be a little weaker than another choice. So we have an F chord here, and 2 notes down from F is D minor. And that's not a very big change. That's why it's not fascinating.
2 notes are the same, right?
2 notes are the same.
And so it's also a progression that goes down 2, down 2, down 2.
Yeah. So that was actually kind of as weak as you could make it, and it still sounded
It didn't sound too bad. The other thing I love about the chance, and you could do it with a die, you could do it with the beach ball, you could do it with Decide Now, the app, any kind of thing that will give chance is great. Because of the learning that you can get from this last chord in particular, one of the things that students need to learn about at some stage is cadences. And this idea that there's, a 4 or a 5 chord here is generally going to sound better going back to the C. That's not always the case, but generally speaking. So when students do funny things like if they did no chance and they just wrote out C, D minor, E minor, F, that would be kind of weak because it's just moving up step by step.
Right.
Even though the F is not a bad cadence, but you get all these great talking points when students come up with things and you play them and you go, well, so how did that sound? Did it sound really complete? Did it flow?
And what I like about that is they're discovering it. Instead of seeing it on some theory sheet about half cadences and authentic cadences, they're hearing it and seeing it and experiencing it.
Yeah.
Let's try an A minor one.
All right.
Let's throw an A minor down there, and, and I'll give this a spin.
Here we go.
And the numbers will still refer to the major key, but so A minor is first, and I've got a 5 chord. So, it landed on 5. All right, so that's going to be G, A minor G.
Oh, you're going to keep working in the key?
Yes. Okay. And now I've got a 4 chord, that's going to be F. And let's see what happens here. And I landed on 2. So we have that F to D minor again. That's probably a little weak. So since we learned that about 2 going down, I'm gonna adjust that one if that's okay. Or should we try it?
Let's try it. Let's just so everyone can hear it.
2, 3.
Actually, it's not too bad,
Sometimes another trick is that if this does not sound conclusive, you could do that first, and then on the second time around, adjust it so that it has a kind of almost equal 2 parts. We do this one, the second time around maybe play an A minor here to get you back home, or we could play the 5 chord in the key of A minor.
Yeah, and that's a really good learning experience. Let's do that now, because students, if they roll this on a die or the beach ball, they're going to end up with an E minor here, right?
Right.
Now, and this is the best way to learn about raising sevenths and harmonic minors and things like that. Let's play this chord progression, Bradley. Here we go.
A minor, G, F,
and E minor. 2 and 3 and 4.
You know what?
It actually works pretty well. In some of these minor chord progressions, the student's ear is going to go, something is wrong with this E minor. I want an E major to lead us back to.
It's kind of like that.
But this is great. There's no, for me, when I teach this stuff, there's no preconceived ideas of what I want the student to do. It's completely exploratory.
So that's the key here. Let me just hit that. That is such an important part about teaching creativity. replace the old model where the teacher has all knowledge and the student is an empty vessel to be poured that knowledge into, with the teacher is a fellow explorer on the creativity, mountain.
Yeah.
So
100%. So, and that means you're going to make some mistakes, right? And that's totally cool.
but then you can discuss why it was a mistake. Why didn't
Exactly.
it sound great?
Yeah. And you haven't told them, you've opened up the floor to it.
So let's do this twice.
Yeah.
Change this to E,
Okay.
and the next time around, that's our first ending. And the next time around, we'll change it to A minor. So we'll do it twice through A minor, G, F, E, A
Okay.
minor, G, F, A minor.
All right. Here we go. 2, 3.
That's right.
We've got time for just one tiny little thing, because
Sure.
you've been doing all this very cool, funky stuff, but people might not know what you're doing.
Okay,
Yeah. So as a student, I would then go, okay, Bradley, I like this chord progression. What I'd like to do is I'm going to play it, and I'd like you to improvise on it.
Oh, what note should I use?
Very good question. I would do this, by the way, in the C progression first, just much more simple. So what if you're in doubt, what do you do with improvising? We've got that saying.
When in doubt, pen out.
When in doubt, pen out. So, can you use, I don't know why I'm doing the American accent thing. Can you use the...
We're rubbing off on them.
Do you know the A minor pentatonic scale? What's it?
Yeah, see, the A minor pentatonic scale is the same as the C major pentatonic scale.
Right.
And the formula for a major pentatonic scale, I remember, is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
Great.
So, C, D, E, G, A.
Beautiful.
But if we started on A, well, that would give us...
So that's our pentatonic
minor
one?
sound?
Yeah. So all I do with students is I say, well, let's start with the A. We're going to put the A from the top down the bottom. So we've got the notes A, C, D, E, G. And that should work all right.
Okay.
Except for one chord. And this would be another good discussion I have with students. One of those notes is going to clash with this one, of course.
Because we changed it away from the key.
Exactly. So we're not going to worry about that now. Would you mind just grooving and trying to restrict how much other stuff you do? See if you can stick just to the pentatonic notes, and we'll see how
I'll
it
be the
sounds.
melody guy, you just be the accompaniment.
Okay, here we go. And I would do this with students. So I would play their chord progression, they improvise, and then we'd swap jobs. They love it. Great, really great fun. Here we go. 2. That's simple.
Sounded good.
Sounds really, really good.
So I use the word safe notes for pentatonic. They can't, you can't really sound bad with those notes, and that's very freeing. Another way we could take this is to limit the improvisation to only chord tones. And the way I like to teach that is you hover over the chord. So I'm going to get ready to play an A minor, A, C, E, but instead of playing in my hand, it's hovering there, and then I throw down notes from outer space that are on that chord. So A, C, E, or A, C, E. So it was 100% chord tones, except for the last chord because I forgot what that chord was. And so what? It still worked, right?
That's right.
So, yeah.
And you kept playing. You didn't stop and start crying.
That's a lot of it. That's a lot of it.
And you can get, for students who then want to go home and work on this, they can record themselves playing their chord progression into their phones, get them to repeat it maybe 4 times, and then they put their headphones on or just play the recording out loud and they improvise over the top of it. So
He's good because I didn't know what a chord was before we started this lesson.
That's right.
It worked out.
That's how good I am.
More and more, I'm really emphasizing that there is no line between teaching chords and teaching repertory. They're the same. So you can, for example, take a piece of repertory, something from a method book, or let's just say we were doing a little more advanced tune with Bach Invention. So we might just say, what are the chords he's using here? And write them in. A minor, E7, A minor. And And so we're writing in chord symbols in the classical music, and then breaking it down. And there's a whole thing you can do with a guy called getting under the hood of classics with that. I don't think of them as separate except for this. In my lessons, we start every lesson with a scale and a chord drill, a little practice. Something like cadences, but they're a little more elaborate. So how about you?
Yeah, I tend to try and link things together as much as possible. It's the fact that students are making connections in their brain that's going to help them actually understand things. So I try not to kind of segment Sherry. I'm going to do just chords now, and then I'm going to do check, and then I'm going to do oral or whatever. Try and link them together. It's not always possible to, but try and link them together as much as possible. In answer to your question, though, I tend to, I don't know if I've ever sort of talked about this all that openly. I might have written about it once. I tend to split my lessons into just three components, just to make it simple for me to remember. All my students do something with technique, and that could include drills. They all do something with music, and they all do something creative.
You mean sheet music?
So yeah, so written music, and that could be of any genre. I don't just do pop, so there's baroque, classical, romantic, whatever it is, modern piano solos, and then they all do something creative. That might be playing a pop song that they like, it could be composing like this, it could be playing the blues, whatever it is. So if I cover those three areas in each student's lesson, I find that's a really good way for me to structure.
It's funny, we arrived at that independently. I do the same thing. Start with technique, we hit the creativity next, and reading next, and we hit the creativity end.
There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I want to make it like the end is a retreat, and I want them to see improvisation as a treat, not some scary thing that we might feel as classically trained musicians. If you just want to emphasize what Tim was saying that might have got missed, this longer exploration of chords can be for that lesson when the student has just totally unprepared, they had a rough week, they didn't practice. What are we going to do? Instead of a sort of supervised practice over their normal material, you say, you know what, let's just abandon all that and we're messing around with chords today.
Yeah.
And that's good learning.
Absolutely, yeah. The thing I love most about this is it's not just a bit of fun, right? They're actually going to learn more through this and composing than they will in a lot of other activities.
Especially if you as a teacher help make connections. So that's it. There's the Strauss waltz. So what were those chords? C and G. Those are the first two chords of the Let It Be progression.
Yeah, and a great way to no idea what you're talking
shut
about.
off. So I'm going to need you to stop
talking?
If you
right, okay.
So do you have any final comments?
I thought you were going to.
Yeah, but let me do my signature sign off.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, here we go.
I don't know what's about to happen.
So until next time, enjoy your creative music making journey.